in your global grant applications. And unfortunately, those are not going to be approved either here or by the Rotary Foundation because they were done by your international partner. And that is, the best way to do a sustainable project, the best way to start a sustainable project is by you going to talk to the people in communities, in their language, in their culture, and engage them in discovering what their needs are from their point of view and their suggestions for solutions that they can then support and sustain when your project is over. The assessment needs to be less than 6 months old. And I know that sometimes it takes a while to craft these projects, but you should be going back into the community and you can update that needs assessment as you go back to the community and present to them some of the ideas you've come up with to address their issues. Be sure in that needs assessment that you engage a cross-section of the community and stakeholders. Don't just go in to get a laundry list, but maybe a baraza, maybe some focus groups. There's an excellent resource on My Rotary in the Resource Center, brand new tips for doing community assessments. And I recommend that you go to that Resource Center as you are preparing your grant. So this is an important part of your draft of your grant. And then as you go, you can download a template for the application if you would like. And and then you can fill that out by hand, but you can start the draft of your application and you and your partners can keep working on it for a year before it needs to be submitted. So you can work that online. In the draft, you're going to list your international partner primary contact, and you're going to list the primary contact from your club. The primary contact from your club should not be the club president. And it probably, engage your club in your global grant projects. You need to set up some committees of membership, of project management, payment, procurement. So that gives you a great chance. So you will need the template for the memorandum of understanding between you and the international partner and any other implementing partners that you work with to implement the project. Implementing partners cannot do monitoring and evaluation. Implementing partners cannot do needs assessments. Rotary grants cannot be used to fund implementing partners projects, but we do recognize, Rotary recognizes that you need their expertise. So there's an MOU template that you need to follow. Your grant application should also include a training plan, whether it's a water and sanitation project. There needs to be such things as hand washing or maybe some menstrual health training. But that training plan needs to be included in the grant application. There's a template for that. Your grant application also has a place where you need to talk about the sustainability. Are you going to maybe charge 5 shillings for a 10-liter jug of water from the borehole that you've dug to go back to maintain the borehole? Those kind of things that contribute to the sustainability of the project, because Rotary and the district want to support projects that will be sustainable long after the clubs are gone. Then you'll have your financial management plan, which is, as Catherine mentioned, clubs in Kenya and South Sudan are required to maintain the funds at KCB, and our office helps you to set up that account, which would then also be signed by the district governor and the DRFC when you need payments. And then you'll need 3 bids. Your club needs to do the vendor selection. Unless there's some extenuating reason, please try to buy locally. If you're doing anything that involves property, whether you're putting a hole in it or a fence on it, you need a title deed. And that title deed should be properly watermarked and it should be notarized as an original deed. We've seen a lot of fake title deeds. And if you have surveys, such as hydrological surveys for a borehole project, be sure that the hydrological survey is not done by the same company that's going to be awarded the drilling contract, because you might find a problem down the line, as we have right now at one of the grants I'm working on in Kenya. Then once you and your international partner have filled out all of the application and you have your funding in order, and we'll do a whole session on funding, so I don't want to get too deep into that today because it's a whole meeting in itself. Once you do that, you lock the grant and you submit it, and then I get a notification that you've submitted it for the district to authorize it. Before it goes to the Rotary Foundation, the district needs to authorize it. So here's what happens, and we try to get this done within 7 working days. And if you've done all the things you need to do, then we can do that. First of all, we'll confirm that you're qualified and that the host club has 25 members. If you're not qualified, you'll get a letter immediately saying you're not qualified and we're not going to go any further. But assuming that you're qualified, we also want to have 2 other clubs that participate in the grant, including 1 Rotaract club. The purpose for this is so that you have some other expertise to draw on. If you're a new club, that you have maybe an experienced club that can guide you through the global grants. And thirdly, because Rotaractors are now eligible to apply for global grants, if they have been actively involved in a grant, then you're opening that opportunity for them. So involve 2 other clubs. Then we'll verify no reporting and stewardship issues. And then once we've got all of those little details that the district wants, I have 2 people on the grants team. One will be a specialist in whatever area of focus your grant is in, and the other is another person on the grant committee, and they review it and give their feedback. And they know their things, but they're just trying to make sure that if they see anything that is out of order with your MOU, or maybe your training plan isn't quite clear, or then we'll coach you through that, because we don't really want to be the grant police here. We want all 100 and however many, 50 clubs in the district to do fantastic projects. And we're here to help you do that. And we have a record of all of the grants that we submit to the Rotary Foundation being approved by the Rotary Foundation, except one that just wasn't approved. But anyways, then it's taken to the Troika, which is probably going to be now 5, but that's the DG, the DGE, and the DGN. And of course, we'll be looping in the new district governor people that will be part of the redistricting. So we review it, we make a case for the fact that we've reviewed it, we think it's great, and they should authorize it, and then it is sent on up to the Rotary Foundation. So the Rotary Foundation has people who really have a lot of expertise, and they'll send you a lot more feedback. But once it's approved by the Rotary Foundation, they issue payment, and then it's really up to you to continue to report back to your club and your international partners on the project, to do timely reporting of the grant. And if you don't, you're going to be hearing from us again. And so the resources that you need are this is the link to the Rotary Grant Center website and all the resources that you need to do a global grant. We've really just hit the high points of the first couple stages here. Here's our contacts. And let's open this up now for questions. Thank you very much. How's the chat? We will share this. We will share the slides. Absolutely. And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, team. Thank you, DGSE, Jennifer, and DQC, Catherine, for that session that we have thoroughly enjoyed. And I would like to apologize to the many, many people that we logged out. What happened is that we used one of us Zoom account because the one we had planned to use had another meeting, so we had to prioritize. And I'm really, really sorry for the many who are flooding the WhatsApp pages to complain. We are very sorry about that, but it is an issue that will be sorted out, and I'm sure they will benefit from the recording. That's why I jumped in, because I can see many of us who are trying to log in and they cannot. And I know they will benefit in one way or another. And again, Pipi, Catherine, and Jennifer are part of us. So I am sure they will be more than willing to visit us, even through our virtual meetings, to share more of the knowledge that they have. We have so many questions in the chat. And my colleague, Clive, I'm sure you are following up on the same. And I'm sure we have more from the people who from the Rotarians who are here with us. So over to you, Cliff.
Well, in the chat, there are not many questions, but I've seen some comments. For instance, there's been this complaint of the number cannot go more than 100, but I think you have explained that one. There is a comment on will the recordings be shared? And maybe this is over to our facilitators. Then there was a comment again that RI has allowed 15 members to form a club. There's that legal requirement that a minimum of 15 can form a club from RI International. That's also international. And then for D9212, I think this somebody was asking, is 20 approved? 20 for the formation of a club and also to do a grant, 20 members. Then I think that was mainly on membership. There was something on membership which maybe our facilitators can comment. Thank you.
I can go ahead and explain or clarify the question about the numbers that are approved. The rationale about the host club having a minimum of 25 members is drawn from the statistics of participation of members in the club. If you look at our club's attendance registers, you see that mostly 50% of our members are active in the club. So if you have 20 members, you can project that you will have 10 members active. And out of those 10, probably the most consistent will be like 7. And looking at the procedures that we have for management of global grants, you're required to set up specific committees, which some are quite independent, like the payments and the procurement committees are independent. So with such less numbers, you run having problems in management of the grant, and that's where you get into stewardship issues of having just a few members running the show when it comes to global grants. Maybe Jennifer can add something that's based on her experience with the numbers and clubs in global grants.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. That was a good answer. Yeah, to really properly do a global grant takes takes a number of members of your club. And in spite of RI's reduction in number of members to charter a club, a district is always allowed to make their own rules. I just want to briefly, for those of you that maybe are new to this membership or new to this district, since 2022, our district has been under supervision for having funds embezzled from 3 global grants by one of the clubs in Kenya. Not the first time it's happened either. So we have been mandated by the Rotary Foundation to put measures into place to prevent this from happening again. Actually, originally, when it was uncovered, they were going to ban our district from having grants. So I wouldn't be here with you this evening because we would have been banned until 2027. And when we looked at the issues that are most likely to cause stewardship problems, there were a couple things that stood out. Number one, a grant that's being run by one person in the club without the engagement of other people in the club. That tend to be pretty common throughout the stewardship problems we had. Number two, the grant being the needs assessment and the vendor selection being done by the international partner instead of by the host club. That we also found a lot of problems there because the international partners aren't particularly smart when it comes to negotiating with vendors in Kenya. No offense to the international partners that might be on this call, but and so separating procurement and payment and those kinds of things does take a handful of people. And so that the 25 number is what we have been standing on for the last couple of years. I'm looking forward to the day that we are no longer under supervision from the Rotary Foundation. But there are some good practices that have been put in place through this, and those probably you'll see those continue. That's all I have. Thank you. I'm kind of long-winded on that, but I think a lot of people don't know what the history of the evolution of these things are. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
another
you.
question
Thank
has
you.
come up. Another question has come up. Somebody's asking, I didn't get the name properly. No, Marceline Obudo is asking, how long does a grant take to go through from needs assessment to approval? That's one. The other question is, if a joint project, if we have a joint project that's for 2 or more clubs, does each club need to have 25 members?
Thank you let me answer the quick one first. If it's the host club needs 25 members. You can't combine the clubs to get to 25, but the other 2 clubs certainly can have less than 25. And it's a great way for them to showcase what they can do and grow their clubs. But only the host club needs to have 25. Can you repeat the second question, please, Clip? First question, thank you. You're muted. You're muted.
How long does it take for a grant, the grant process from beginning to the end, from needs assessment to approval?
Boy, that I have seen some happen in 6 months, and I have some grants that I've been working with as long as I've served at the district since 2022, and they're still not ready to be approved at TRF. It just depends on, first of all, there's one right now that is in draft, and the grant amount is $280,000. And they still need they still need to raise $193,000. So they got a long way to go on that. We'll talk about grant funding, I'm sure, in a future session. We have a really big grant in Western Kenya that involves 4 clubs. It's a big malaria project. It took several years for them to get that finished. But once you've done your needs assessment and you know what needs to be done, if you have a good international partner, you know, you can, and someone who's willing to sit down and write the grant and people on the committee that'll help you, then probably you can get it done and written into us in 90 days. And then it'll take it probably another 2 or 3 months. So I think it'll take a month at Rotary Foundation. And then once it's approved at Rotary Foundation, it takes 30 days for everybody to get their money to the foundation for you to have your money. So 6 months would be the soonest.
Okay.
The
More questions have
longest.
come in.
Yeah,
More
okay.
questions have come in. Another question here says, what happens to a club that has no road tractors or in tractors? Do they also qualify for grant application if they don't have road tractors or interactors?
Yes, they do. They do. We do have some qualified Rotaract clubs that are happy to take a look at a grant and see if they might be able to support you. I don't know if E-Club has a Rotaract club, but some of these E-Clubs, their members are spread out all over the place. So if, you know, I mean, if you don't have a Rotaract club, we'll figure something out.
Okay, maybe one more from
case by
the
case,
chat again.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, that's Nyambura from RC Juja, what's the minimum and maximum duration of a grant?
Gosh, most grants are 18 months minimum. By the time it varies, you know, there's 7 areas of focus for Rotary grants. And drilling a borehole should be a fairly cut and dried and quick process. But then you want to do your training and you want to make sure that you have potable water and you want to make sure that a year from now it's still producing as was promised. So, and then there are some projects that go 3 or 4 years. And there are some projects that have been ongoing. We have one up in Turkana that's now going into phase 5. And it's been going on for about 10 years. We have one in Western in Bondo, I think it is, that's in its 5th phase also. International partner is a Rotary club. It's either a Rotary club or a Rotary district. That was a question that just appeared on my screen. Do you see Otieno with his hand up here, Cliff?
I'm not seeing.
I'm seeing PP Otieno, hand up.
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much for that. I couldn't type my question because it requires a bit of explanation. You're talking about, I'm from Rotary Club of Milimani, and you're just talking about the international partners. And I'm privileged to be in this club that has experienced almost all facets of grant. And at the moment, we have a situation where an international partner came in and they were in charge of, according to MOU, the contractor. And so they came in with their contractor, whom they trusted much better. And we had our own part, which was to do with the simple things for desks and other things that we did on our part very well. Now, it was about some water project, and the tanks were placed, and just like you're giving a good example, there were tanks, and then there was to be that part of the community, that that's sustainability, which had the community purchasing water at a modest price. But what I'm told is at some point when it reached that level, the community was not very accommodative. They loved it at the beginning of the project until the project was over, and now there was that bit of implementation and it created problems. The second part is there was an agreement with the contractor, according to the MOU, that they would give a warranty for 10 years. 10 years are not yet over, but then there are some other repair issues that need to be taken care of. On our part, in our club did what was supposed to do, what was supposed to be done, but then the contractor needs to be contacted. The other club needs to, in our view, because that was their part, take care of the needs that were related to the contract that they themselves hired. So we are stuck with this project because we need to have it cleared, because there is also the limit of we can only run 3 global runs. So how
Otieno,
can
will
we
you allow
hand it
me
over
to
to them
interrupt you?
and get cleared on our club?
No, let me side chat me tomorrow. You need to speak to the district stewardship chair, David Muiru at RCU Tamishi, and he'll walk you through that, okay? We didn't bring the stewardship chair in here tonight, time limitation, but you let us know and we'll walk you through that whole situation, okay? This is exactly the reason why the host club needs to do the needs assessment, the vendor selection, and this is why we will no longer be accepting grants unless that has been the procedure followed. So I'm sorry, thank you for sharing that, because that's a classic example of the issues that arise. So are there any more questions, Cliff? I'm
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
lost my
2 more.
chat. Okay.
I didn't pick the name, but it's on the chat. Who is an international partner? Who is an international partner? Is it just a club or is it an
It's
international
either a club.
organization?
Yeah. No. It's a Rotary club, and in some cases it might be a Rotary district. Every club, every grant has one international partner, and it may receive funding from lots of other clubs, international clubs and districts, but the one that's contributing either in the form of DDF or cash, a percentage, which I think is 15%. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on that. But that is the international partner. So all of the agreements, all of the legal responsibility for the grant falls on your club and the international partner. So if you decide to cancel the grant, both the international club and the host club have to approve that. If they if they
I
want to
think you
make
have
any
answered.
changes, the two have to agree.
Have to be
And
a club.
honorary members, honorary members do not count as part of the 25. And when your grant application comes for authorization, I go into the Rotary website. I don't do that. Catherine does that. And she confirms how many active members you have registered. So if you registered members after, the 1st of July, then we'll be able to see that. So it's your current membership as of the day you've put them on My Rotary. I
One
think
more
we're about
before
out
maybe
of
we
time.
hand over
Okay,
to
all right.
Mary. Before it goes to Mary, there's a question here about budget and funding. Must the global grant application be at least 30,000 US dollars, or it can be less?
No, minimum
And-
global grant is 30,000 and max is 400,000.
So what is there a minimum and maximum?
Yes, it's $30,000 is the minimum for a global grant.
That means it cannot be less. Then
It
number
cannot
2,
be less.
but of that question, must you fundraise fully? That's the budget for the authorizations to be given.
Yes, you have to have raised all your money. You have to have raised your budget. You can't lock the grant until you have funding to match your budget.
So Mary, please take over.
Thank you, Cliff. Thank you, Cliff, and our facilitators. But I can see, I don't know whether we have answered this question. What if a club began the Rotary year with fewer than 25, but later reached or exceeded the 25-member threshold during the same year? Would the club still be eligible to implement a global grant project?
Yes, as soon as you, some clubs are intending to have 50 members. So they are, they're starting the draft application. And then once it comes to the authorization, that's when we look at the membership. So as long as you have 25 when it comes to authorization, you'll be fine. Now, don't let me see you drop back to 20 when the grant's been approved, because we'll keep an eye on that. Once again, the minimum amount for a global grant is 30,000 US dollars. I saw that again. And thank you, Terry. And the max is 400,000. Thanks, Terry.
Wow. Thank you. That is answered. There's another question. Otieno is asking how he can get DGSC's number. Jennifer,
Tell him
DG
to ask past President Yedish as my number. She has me on speed dial.
Yeah. I've also noted a number here, Pat Ngumo, Rotarian Pat Ngumo. I'll reach out to you because I am not sure which WhatsApp group you would want you to add you. I'll follow up. I'll call you immediately after this session. And we still have, hello, must the bank account be from KCB? What if a club has a
Yes.
different one?
Yes, you must let the district office know, and we'll guard you on that. We'll guide you on that. The bank account is opened at KCB under the global grant number and the name. In addition to the 2 signatories from your club, you will also need to get 2 signatories from the district. That's the district governor and the DRFC, and the DGE is also the 3rd signatory. Or actually, it's PDG Peter and Bowie, because DGE is in Ethiopia. But so you have your treasurer post a payment request online. We verify that it's a budgeted item within your budget, and that the invoices and documentation are all there that's needed. And then the payment is issued electronically, and the process takes about 48 hours to get the payment sent. But it's at the DCB, it's at the KCB, and the district will help you set up the account once you get your global grant. And I saw one more question on here that was district grants. District grant funds become available when the last year's district grant was closed, which it's still not closed. And it's up to the district governor how those funds will be dispersed. She'll be announcing that policy. She'll be announcing that procedure probably in the next 60 days. And it varies from year to year. It's purely at the pleasure of the district governor how those funds are distributed.
Thank you. We still have time, so if we have questions apart from the ones that we have answered from the chat, you can raise your hand up. We don't want to leave questions hanging because we are not rushing. We still have time. And meanwhile, I can see PP Catherine thanking us. Thank you, fellow Rotarians, for attending the session. Please reach out with any club qualification issues. We will assist you with the information you need. And her email address is there. Kindly note that. And I can assure you that this session The demand is more than us. So DGSC and DQC, we shall be reaching out to you for another session, and I know you wouldn't mind coming to share the knowledge that you are sharing with us tonight. If we don't have more questions, do we have questions? We'll leave it at that. Kindly tell our other Rotarians that we are going to share the recorded session. And I can see Woods from Ethiopia has already recorded on her end to share with the team. Thank you very much, Rotarian Woods. And if there are no questions, we can call it a night. And I'll go by saying, maybe Jennifer and
Excuse
Catherine, do you have any parting shots before I
It's
close the
not a
session?
recording. It's not, this is Rotarian Sifta, it's not a recording, but the challenge was resolved at mid-time. The Zoom meeting was live on YouTube by the district chair,
Okay.
Dr. Gilbert. So
All
that's
right.
what I shared.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rotarian Woods from Addis Ababa West, I guess. Any parting shots from Pipi Catherine?
Yes, thank you, Roger and Mary. I just wanted to say, fellow Rotarians, I can see the excitement about doing global grants, doing impactful projects. And so my encouragement is let's go out there and purpose to qualify our clubs so that when we submit our applications to Jennifer, we are not told just because we didn't qualify. So let's start with where it all begins, with qualify. That's the message to take to our clubs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pipi Catherine. DGSC, Jennifer?
Thanks, Mary, and thank you, Catherine. I've shared the PowerPoint in the chat, but I'll send it to you again, Mary, so you can distribute it and keep it on your archives for future reference. Thank you, everybody. We've just barely scratched the surface. And I can tell from your questions that you're all hungry for more. The best resource is in the Grant Center, and in the Learning Center on my Rotary. There's a 10 unit. Each unit is 15 minutes long, okay? So you can do it on your tea break. The 10-minute Managing Global Grants Management course, it is so full of great information. And those, if you complete that course, then you download the certificate and upload that, and that, you know, counts as part of your club qualification. Do it, get together as a group and do it, you know, together as a group. They're well done, they're interactive, they're relevant, and they're short, which is nice in our busy world. So thanks everybody for coming this evening. Sorry that we couldn't accommodate more people, but we'll figure this out. I think they have an EXCO meeting.
Yes,
yeah, I think we've been overruled by the DG. So happy grant writing, everybody. We're here to help you, and like I said, we're here to help you do fantastic projects. Some of you might think we're come down pretty hard on you, but it's for your own good. Thanks. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. On behalf of the district learning team, and on behalf of my co-facilitator tonight, Cliff, we are happy that it has ended well. We are happy that we can see the thirst and hunger for knowledge, particularly on the global grants. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank our facilitators, the District Qualification Chair, Catherine Malenya, and District Subcommittee Chair, Jennifer Grimm. Thank you very much for your resourcefulness. Thank you very much for the knowledge. As Jennifer says, we are just scratching the surface. And I am sure many of us will be reaching out to you through, of course, through the chair of the learning committee for more sessions of this kind. So thank you everyone for signing in. I can see flowers flying to our facilitators. We really appreciate you. And before I close, I would like to call Cliff to say kwaheri. And because he's not throwing the ball back to me, it's a good night to everyone. And thank you, everyone. What happened is that we had not foreseen this, because normally we are less than 100. And the main Zoom account was being used for the EXCO meeting. So what happened? That is what happened, and I'm sorry that so many were locked out by this session. But next time we shall make sure that we are all here and accommodating more through the district Zoom account. Asanteni sana. Have a lovely evening. Over to you, Cliff.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mary Karuri. You've done very well. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank the attendees. I thought this 1 hour is going to be too long, but it's ended. And I think we've done quite well. So thank you so much, everyone. And have a good evening.
Thank
Asanteni.
you, Cliff. Asante sana.
Lala
Thank
salama.
you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, good evening. Good
Good
evening.
night,
night.
Rotary the world over.
What a world over. Thank you.